Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons why your tube amp sucks and why you most probably need to use a digital amp sim for home recording. Now, just a disclaimer. I don't think they suck. That was just my super clickbaity title. Tube amps are awesome. I have tube amps. I've got tube preamps and I love tube. I love the technology. But when you are a home recording musician, usually 9 times out, I'm almost going to say 99% of the time, they are unfeasible and impractical to use. Reason number 1, they are expensive. Not just tube amps. Recording a tube amp is super expensive. Number 1, you need a good tube amp. For example, if you're going to buy like a good tube head, even not a good, let's go cheap. The PV6505MH, $399. That's like what, 10,000 Rand in South Africa because of shipping? Yeah, right. Anyway, you got that. Then you need a good cab. You cannot use a cheap cab and expect great pro level results. You need a good cab. You need good speakers, Celestion Vintage 30s, creambacks, greenbacks, but you cannot use a cheap cab if you want a good tone. The cab is most probably one of the most important aspects to your tone, and you cannot use a cheap cab to replicate what your amp is putting out. Okay, then you need microphones. Yes, a Shure SM57 is going to get you a long way, but then you've got one mic, and you need a bigger palette when you're recording, because you might find that SM57 doesn't fit in your mix. Maybe that just the overall sound that mic is capturing doesn't fit in your mix. So you're going to want something else. Audix R5, Heil PR30, the Roswell Delphos. There's so many out there, but now you're racking up cash just to capture your audio. And the worst thing you want to do is force that mic into your mix. If it doesn't work, get over it and use something else. Now, point number 2. You are most probably in a bedroom like myself, or in an office turned makeshift studio type of vibe. Those are not built acoustically sound for recording. Okay, you want to crank your tube amp. What comes with that in an untreated room? Really bad reflections. It just doesn't work. It's gonna sound horrible when you put it in a mix. No, no. You're gonna spend hundreds of dollars treating your room, racking up the expense of recording your tube amp at home even more. It's just gonna get astronomically expensive if you're going to be doing it that way in a bedroom or an office turned studio. Point number 3, there is no tube amp that can do everything, truly do everything. You get versatile tube amps, yes, I agree, but tube amps, there isn't a tube amp that just does everything and does everything wonderfully. Like, oh, okay, awesome. I've got one tube amp that can do Marshall tones, that can do Vox tones, that can do Fender tones, that can do Mesa tones, that can do PV tones. It does not exist, okay? It does not exist. That amp does not exist. That tube amplifier does not exist. Yes, you can get a Kember, but that's lank expensive as well, okay? But we're not going to get into that side of the discussion, okay? So I would rather use Bias from Positive Grid or Joey Sturgis tones, the Tone Forge series. Buy those. You're going to be sitting at a lot less money and less capital to record. And this brings me to point number 4. Tube amps are freaking loud. Like really, really loud. Like you need to crank a tube amp like we all love doing. We love cranking our tube amps. It gets them sounding sweet. It gets the tubes cooking. It's awesome, but you're gonna most probably irritate your wife, you're gonna irritate your neighbors, and going back to point number 2, you're gonna cause more room reflections that your microphone is gonna pick up, and it's gonna sound horrible. It's not gonna sound pro level like you want it to. That's where the amp sim comes in. The cabinets emulations that have been designed with most good amp sims are designed in amazing studios that you and I can only dream of owning. Like, look at 2 Notes Wall of Sound. I rave about this product, not because they pay me, because they don't. I get nothing from 2 Notes, but their product is amazing. Their cabs are recorded in studios that I will most probably never ever set foot in my entire life. And I can have that in my computer. Hell yes! Now, point number 5. You do not have to commit to a tone while you are tracking. This is brilliant because once you stick a mic in front of a cab, that's it. A little bit of EQ might save you, might take you a little bit, like be able to shape it a little bit more, but that characteristic is set in stone. Even if you take a dry track from the amplifier and take it into an impulse response loader or a cab sim like 2 Notes, wall of sound, you're still stuck with that same amp characteristics. While as with a suite like Positive Grid's Bias, you can flick through different amp sims and see which one fits in your mix better. Now the point of this video was not to cause World War III down below in the comments, but to rather say to guitarists, let's not be stubborn, let's not be closed-minded, let's embrace the technology that is in front of us. We've embraced everything. We've embraced smartphones, we've embraced laptops, we've embraced AI to a certain point, we've embraced robotics engineering, we've embraced all of these awesome technologies that digital and these clever people have given us. Why can't we have a look at this technology? Because guess what? The technology is good. And I've tested it. I'm going to link 2 videos down below where I've actually tested digital amp sims versus a Kember, versus a real amp, versus free amp sims. There's 2 down below. Go check them out. And I think you'll be surprised. Have a rad day, guys. If you're a newcomer, please subscribe. Big hugs if you subscribed already, and big hugs if you are going to subscribe now. Have a rad day, guys. Cheers. Thanks.